So a lot of the questions that we get from owners are about product requests for things we could carry in the store. And I
Sure.
just wondered if you could give us a little viewpoint into that process.
Currently, so there's a couple avenues right now. People have product requests, um, and I would say right now none of them are great, and there are things that we're trying to improve upon. So the easiest one I would say is the info at belfast.coop email address where you can send product requests in, and then we'll forward them along to the people that can answer them better than I can. The other way would be the comment cards that we have in the store. So currently, we don't make a distinction between like general comments and product requests on comment cards, but it's sort of the same process where if you fill out a comment card about a product that you're interested in, we'll pass it along to the people that make those decisions. And if you want to, they'll get back in touch with you. So right now, those are the avenues that we have. Ideally, down the road, we would like to set up something that's a little bit more automatic. So either something through the website or yeah, I think there are ways to improve upon the system, and we're working on it. If you have any further questions that you would want to have answered in the last session of these talks, you can send them to info@belfast.coop.
So today we're talking about financing. What about building a new construction building was not possible for us?
The cost. So yeah. So the ultimate responsibility in this project, in any project that we take on, is making sure that it's financially feasible, right? So, I mean, highest priority is always the safety and security of workers and customers, and that's the driver for the vision of it. But when it comes down to feasibility, we want to make sure that whatever we take on, 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road, isn't going to sink the co-op, because that would be a huge failure on our part. So, so when we started looking at what the possibilities were for building a new building versus renovating the old building, building a new building was always the preferred option, and it was something that we were looking towards. But no matter how we modeled it, we could never make it so that 10 years out it didn't sink the co-op. It was just too costly of a venture. With the population where we get to pull customers from was just never enough to have the sales that we would need to afford that project down the road. So, and this was a multiple year long process to get to the point where we knew that this was not feasible. And so we had to keep scaling back the project before we could get to the point where it made sense. And we're finally there.
And how is financing going for this renovation project?
Sure. So when you look at any project, and you look at a financial pro forma model and how you're gonna pull off the project, there's two sides of it. There's sources and uses, right? So uses is everything that it takes to do the project. So it's construction, it's equipment, it's professional services, architects, all of that. So that's all on the uses side of things. And on the sources side, that's how you're going to pay for everything. So on our current project, and the two things have to match, right? So your sources and your uses have to balance each other out. So on our current project, the sources that we're looking at right now, we have three primary sources for funding. One is cash reserves. So we have built up a little bit of cash over the last few years, so that we'd be using a portion of that. Second part is bank loans, senior debt, and then the third one would be member loans. So we're going to be using some mix of those three things, and then if we still need a little bit more, we have other options to fill in any gaps that there might be in the needs. The thing about co-ops and the thing about capital campaigns, and when we're thinking about funding a project like this, the thing that makes co-ops different than other businesses is that we have the opportunity to go to our owners and ask them to participate in funding the project. It's something that is unique to co-ops. And it's a really cool opportunity, not only for the co-op to be able to do this fun, exciting project that's going to make our work lives and our shopping lives better, but it's a good opportunity for the community to be able to say, I wanted to participate in this thing that is going to help me and help my neighbors for years to come. Yeah, and most businesses don't get to do that. The co-ops do. And we'll be, the details of how we're going to go about that are still being worked out. The board is working on a strategy for a capital campaign. They're working with the capital campaign consultant and looking to hire a coordinator. And I think all of that will be a lot more information about that in the next month or so. But it's a really exciting time.